In this video, I'm going to teach you how to do more advanced knowledge retrieval using some techniques in our tool builder so your agents have access to data from knowledge tables. All right, so we're in our tool builder, and the first thing you'll see is that I've called this tool Better Knowledge Retrieval. Now, what do I mean by better knowledge retrieval? Well, you'll see this blue section at the top of your tool builder called knowledge. This is an abstraction we've built where you can easily do knowledge retrieval in your tool builder, but at a cost. The cost is you have less control. So if you want to do some more fine-grained, finely tuned knowledge retrieval, if you have an agent, maybe a customer support agent that needs to get really accurate answers, then you might want to use a technique like I'm about to show you. So let's have a look at this tool. So this tool, obviously, as a user input, receives a search query, so a question from the user. Now, to provide a bit of context here, I've spun up a fake application. I've called it Sparky CRM. So it's a CRM for electricians. And I've generated a knowledge table which has 50 to 100 frequently asked questions from the users of Sparky CRM. So we're imagining we're creating like a customer support agent. This is the tool we can use to allow that agent to pull answers from their customers from the knowledge table with the frequently asked questions that we have. So let's look at how we might do that in the most simple way possible. So you might take this search query input, you might add a knowledge search step. So let's try that now. And then we could select our Sparky CRM FAQ as our knowledge source. We could pass in that search query and we can do a vector search. So again, the search query is this input up here where we've had this question, hey bro, wondering whether this can help me on the go. So we have a user of Sparky CRM here, or a potential user wondering whether they can use the application on site when they're working. So they're probably wondering, is there a mobile app, for example? And so we can feed that question into the query param of knowledge search and do a vector search. So let's run that. While it's running, I'll do a quick little introduction to vector search. So vector search is a technique that allows you to do searching based on similarity, not just text matching. So the normal text matching search you're used to is if you put in a word like on the go, it will search all of your FAQs for specifically the words on the go. Vector search will try to do a bit more of a semantic matching. But you can see here, it's found one result about mobile apps. So it's done well on that result, but it's a bit lost. The first result is about offline mode for some reason. The third result is about tracking team performance. Okay, 2 results on mobile, but another time tracking one. So you can see that some of the results are good. It's picked up that semantic meaning of on the go versus mobile app, but a lot of the other results are just kind of nonsense and unrelated. And this is sort of a limitation of vector search, of knowledge retrieval, because it's doing these similarity-based matches, but it's to some degree something that you have to refine to really get high quality results from. So how might we refine this? Well, let's get rid of this step and have a look at the tool I built. So the first thing we'll do is plug our search query into an LLM step. So why are we doing this? Well, when you think about it, if we go look at what a question from a user might look like, hey bro, wondering whether this can help me on the go, that's free-form text. It's not exactly what you would put into Google search, for example. And this sort of free-form text makes for quite a bad search query. It's full of filler words and stuff that might distract the vector search algorithm. So the first thing we want to do is use an LLM step to convert this free-form search query into a more refined search query designed for searching a database. Again, similar to what you would do if you were searching Google. So to do that, I've done a bit of prompt engineering here. You'll see that we have a very structured prompt. This is something we like to do. If I toggle off markdown format, you'll see I've used triple hashtag here to make these headers. So here I've passed in the search query. I've passed in some context. So users are asking for help about our software products, Sparky CRM, and then I've given it instructions. This search query is free-form text that we want to convert into an effective search query for our FAQ database. This means it should be concise and remove all filler words that don't contribute to the search. Finally, I've used a technique that is very common in the prompt engineering world, which is I've ended my instruction, my prompt to the LLM with the header for the thing that I want the LLM to generate. So I want the LLM to generate a revised search query. So I've put that header at the bottom of my prompt. Now, one little thing I did here, a bit more advanced, is if you click on this setting, you can open the advanced settings for this tool step. And here I've used a system prompt where I've told the LLM that it's an intelligent millennial who is an expert at finding things on the internet. So again, a bit of prompt engineering magic. You can iterate on this sort of stuff, but this is basically a way to reinforce to the LLM what persona it should try to adopt when completing this task. I feel like telling it that's a millennial that's used to Google searching things maybe is a good starting place, but okay, you can experiment here and have some fun and see what works for your situation. So now if I run this step specifically, we'll see that it takes the search query up here, hey bro, blah, 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 and converts it into what is actually quite a good search query, Sparky CRM mobile features. So the LLM has interpreted that by asking about whether they can use it on the go, that they are actually talking about mobile features. And now this is a way better search query for our vector search. So if we step down into the knowledge search, this time we're going to plug in the LLM step .answer. So that's LLM.answer. We're going to use that as the search query. If we run it this time, fantastic. We'll see that it has done a very good job now of prioritizing more relevant questions and answers. You'll see the first one is about mobile. The second one is about mobile. This one's about desktop availability. This one's about the ability to use it on multiple devices. This is really cool. These are way better responses. Now, you'll notice two things, I'm sure. Firstly, you'll notice we have a second LLM step, and maybe you also notice there's one result that still maybe isn't that relevant, which is just what is Sparky CRM. Now, this is actually probably going to help the LLM generate a better answer, but this doesn't answer the question about mobile features. So as a second pass, essentially, of quality assurance here, let's use an LLM to validate that these results are relevant to the question. So here in our final LLM step, you'll see I tell it about the original search query, the revised search query. I've put in the results from this vector search. So again, here we have the vector search variable and it pumps out a results output. So here vector search.results, and then I've given it instructions. Based on the search query, analyze the information that might help and extract anything that is relevant to the query. If nothing is relevant, please feel comfortable to return no useful information as a response. So I'll explain that piece in a second, but essentially what this is doing is feeding in the results from the vector search query and telling the LLM to evaluate, okay, which pieces of these results are actually relevant to the question. Let's summarize that. So if we run this step now, awesome. So here's our answer. Sparky CRM is designed to be accessible via mobile, with a mobile app available on both iOS and Android devices. You can download it from the App Store or Google Play. This makes it suitable for professionals who are always on the move. Additionally, Sparky CRM can be used on multiple devices. This is a really good answer, and this is an answer it couldn't have got to based on just the raw knowledge search. Now again, I mentioned that we have this little piece here about feeling comfortable if there's nothing relevant to return no useful information. So why is this important? Well, in a vector search, so in a knowledge search, our knowledge is powered by a vector database. Essentially how it works is it will take all of the results in that database and it will rank them based on their relevancy to the query. So what that means is it's able to do really cool things with semantics rather than just doing text search and just finding things with exact matches. This ranking process means it can find things that have similar meaning. Very good. The issue is it always just ranks. It doesn't know if there's a concept of match or not match. And therefore, even if none of the results are relevant, it will still return the top X results based on some essentially arbitrary ranking. So in a situation where you do have relevant results, this is fantastic. Vector search works really well. But if someone asks a question where there's not anything relevant in your FAQ knowledge table, it's still going to return data. And we need to handle that case. So what's an example of that? Well, let me imagine if rather than asking about wondering whether there's help on the go. The user asked a question about whether there's an update coming out in September. Now, I know that there's nothing in that FAQ knowledge table answering this question. So the LLM could hallucinate. We could respond with some nonsense. Ideally, we wanted to identify that it can't answer this question. So now let's run through every step again. Let's generate a better search query. Cool, Sparky CRM September app update. That's a good search query. Let's do a knowledge search and see what it finds. Now, as you see, it's kind of returned a bit of nonsense. Like, what is Sparky CRM? How can I access Sparky CRM? Does it have a mobile app? That's because it's not been able to find any results. So it's just ranked them as best as it can and returned the top 5 results from that ranking. But none of them have anything really to do with an app update in September. So this is why that final step is so important. It receives those sort of useless results. It knows what the users asked, and it should be able to evaluate, does this actually answer the question? If not, ideally, it returns no useful information. So there you go. That's a technique that you can build into your agent systems using our tool builder to give them really accurate, non-hallucinogenic knowledge retrieval.